My fork stops dead above the turkey, and my mother's shout echoes through our Christmas Eve dinner in our Long Island home. What is a cow doing in this house? The words burn. The dining room freezes. The faint tick of the foyer clock, the only sound. That clock I paid to fix last month. I'm Jasmine Walters. 28, and I glance at my father, but he dodges my eyes, gripping his fork. My 18-year-old sister smirks, her stare cutting into me. My 30-year-old brother leans in, like he's waiting for a fight. The sting hits hard. I spent all day roasting this turkey, prepping sides, while they lounged with holiday movies. 10 minutes ago, I shared my marketing firm raise, expecting a nod. Now, my mother calls me a cow. The irony bites. My name's on the rent for this house, the utilities keeping it warm, the groceries on these plates. My sister's phone plan, yet I'm the outsider. When Dad's construction job crashed 6 months ago, I covered everything: rent, bills, even insurance. The more I paid, the colder Dad got, his role shrinking. I heard him last week, grumbling to the neighbors she thinks she owns this place. My sister snatches my plate, tosses the rice in the trash, and snaps. Cows should eat grass. I stand, meet her gaze, and say, "Who's going to pay $100,000 for this cow?" The table goes still. My sister flinches, eyes wide, my mother's fork clatters, and my brother shifts, their glances darting in panic. What would you do in this situation? Stay or go? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. My hands shake as I shove clothes into my suitcase, the sting of my mother's cow insult still burning in my chest. I'm in my room in our Long Island house, the faint hum of the heater I paid for filling the silence. Under my desk, a stack of papers catches my eye. Strange. We switched to e-bills when Dad's construction job collapsed. I pull out a bank statement. My mother's name, Marisa Walters, printed at the top. My breath catches. $2,000 in October, $4,000 in November, $7,000 now. Then I find an RV dealership flyer. Her handwriting scrawled, down payment $5,000, pickup post-Christmas. An RV. While I've been cutting corners to pay their rent. Digging deeper, I uncover insurance claims in my name, not for doctor visits, but spa treatments, facials, massages, luxury pampering. My stomach knots. I've been eating instant noodles to stretch my budget while Marissa indulges on my dime. A soft knock interrupts. My 18-year-old sister, Candace Walters, slips in, glancing nervously at the hallway. "You're leaving?" she asks, voice low, fingers fidgeting. "Did you know about this?" I hold up the RV flyer, my tone sharp. Candace hesitates, then nods, eyes dropping. "Mom and Dylan planned it. They waited for you to cover January's rent." My 30-year-old brother, Dylan Walters, always chasing some big break. I grip the papers, anger surging. "And you said nothing?" She shrugs, tense. "Dylan said my phone plan's gone if I told you." I pull up my bank app, showing her my balance, $680. "This is what's left after paying for this house," I say. "Another month, and I'm broke." Candace's eyes flick away. "Mom's spa visits," she mumbles. "They're not medical. She's been using your insurance." The betrayal cuts deeper, like a blade twisting. I start sorting receipts, rent payments, utility bills, grocery lists, all in my name. Proof I've carried this family while they schemed. The cable bill for Dylan's streaming obsession. Candace's phone plan for endless texting. The insurance I thought kept Mom healthy. I pause at a receipt for the fridge I bought last summer when the old one died. My money. My sacrifice. Each document feels like a shield against their lies. Candace watches, twisting her bracelet. "What now?" she asks, barely audible. I don't answer, sliding the statements into my bag. My mind races, tallying every bill I've paid: rent, electricity, groceries for that dinner they mocked me over. My car keys sit on the dresser, the one thing I own outright. At least I'll have that when I leave. I zip my suitcase, the sound slicing the quiet. Candace lingers, like she wants to speak, but doesn't. Their plan: Maurice's RV, Dylan's schemes. Candace's silence presses against me. I'm done being their cash cow. As I stack the last receipt, a decision locks in. I'm walking away for good. My fingers grip the edge of Lacey's pull-out couch in her Brooklyn apartment, the weight of my family's betrayal still clawing at my chest. Boxes of my life clothes, books, a few photos sit stacked against the wall, hauled from Long Island in a frantic hour. Snow dusts the window outside, catching the streetlights. I open my laptop, pulling up the accounts tied to my name: rent for the house, cable for Dylan's streaming, Candace's phone plan, Mom's insurance. I've been their lifeline. Not anymore. I log into the bank app, canceling auto payments one by one. The rent, the utilities, the internet. Each click feels like cutting a chain. Lacey's cat, Scout, curls up beside me, purring as I work. She's at her nursing shift, leaving me in this quiet space to unravel my ties. My phone buzzes Dad's name, Barry Walters, flashes on the screen. I hesitate, then answer. Jasmine. What's going on? His voice is sharp, laced with panic. The cable's out. The phone bill's due. And your mother's insurance got declined. I lean back, jaw tightening. I stopped paying for things that aren't mine to carry. I say, calm but firm. You can't just leave us like this, Barry snaps, his tone shifting to that familiar guilt trip. We're your family. You owe us. I almost laugh. Family didn't call me a cow at Christmas dinner. You made your choice, I say, hanging up before he can argue. My hands shake, but not from fear. Something stronger stirs inside, pushing me forward. I check my bank app again, setting new passwords. Then an alert pops up: 3 failed login attempts from an unfamiliar device. My heart skips. I call the bank, and the representative's voice is steady but concerned. Miss Walters, someone tried accessing your account from an IP tied to your family's address in Long Island. I freeze, picturing Dylan, my 30-year-old brother, scheming behind his laptop. Can you lock it? I ask. She confirms, adding 2-factor authentication and fraud alerts. No one can touch your funds without in-person verification, she says. I pace the small apartment, the snow outside piling higher. My savings, $680, are all I have left after carrying their house. Dylan's attempt to break into my account feels like another knife, sharper than Mom's words or Candace's smirk. I dig out my notebook, jotting down every canceled payment, every account now secured. The rent I paid for years, the cable Dylan used to binge shows, the phone plan Candace relied on. I'm done. Lacey's key turns in the lock, and she steps in, brushing snow from her coat. How's Operation Freedom? She asks, dropping her bag. Almost there, I say, showing her the locked accounts. She nods, handing me a coffee. They'll feel this soon, she says, her tone matter of fact. I glance at my phone, expecting another call, but it stays silent. For now. The city hums outside, a stark contrast to the Long Island quiet I left behind. I'm not just hiding here, I'm building something new, but Dylan's login attempts linger in my mind, a warning they're not done trying to pull me back. As I close my laptop, a new alert pings, making my pulse race. My heart pounds as a fist slams against the door of Lacey's Brooklyn apartment, the sound rattling through the small space. Jasmine. Open this door, Dylan's voice booms, my 30-year-old brother's anger shaking the walls. I peer through the peephole, seeing him red-faced, with Candace, my 18-year-old sister. beside him, her arms crossed, smirking like she did at Christmas dinner. Snow swirls outside, catching the glow of streetlights. I grip my phone, voice steady but tight. Go away. Dylan, I say through the door. You think you can cut us off and walk away? He shouts, pounding again. Candace chimes in, her tone sharp. You owe us. Jasmine, fix this now. Their words echo Mom's cow insult, but I'm done bending. I dial 911, keeping my voice low as I report the disturbance. They're banging on my door, threatening me. I tell the dispatcher, my pulse racing. Dylan's fist hits harder, and Candace snaps, You're nothing without us. A door creaks across the hall, and Mrs. Eileen, Lacey's neighbor, steps out, her face stern. I've called building security, she says, glaring at Dylan. He turns, snarling. Mind your business, lady. But Mrs. Eileen doesn't flinch, pulling her sweater tight. You're making this everyone's business, she retorts. The elevator dings, and a security guard's voice cuts through. Step back from the door. Sir. Dylan spins, still shouting, but Candace hesitates, her smirk fading. Minutes later, blue lights flash outside. Officer Jesse, badge glinting, steps in, his tone firm. You're causing a scene. Sir. Back off now, Dylan argues. This is my sister's place, but the officer shuts him down. You've got no right to harass anyone. Candace shifts nervously as Officer Jesse cuffs Dylan, his shouts fading down the hall. I give my statement, voice calm, detailing their threats. Mrs. Eileen nods, adding her account. As the police car pulls away, I sit on Lacey's couch, Scout purring beside me. My laptop's gone. So is my camera items I left at the Long Island house. I call Officer Jesse back, reporting the theft. They took my laptop and camera, I say, pulling receipts from my bag. I've got proof they're mine. He takes notes, his expression serious. Pawning someone else's property is a crime. Miss Walters. We'll follow up. Lacey walks in, brushing snow from her coat. They came here, she asks, eyes wide. I nod, showing her the receipts. They're not stopping, I say, my voice shaking with anger. Not fear. The city hums outside, a reminder I'm not trapped anymore. But those missing items nag at me, a final jab from a family I'm done with. I need them back. My chest tightens as I step off the train in Long Island. Officer Jesse beside me, his badge catching the winter sun. My folder of receipts, proof of my laptop and camera, feels heavy in my hands. We approach my family's house, the same one I paid rent for. Now quiet under a dusting of snow, Mr. Miguel, the neighbor, glances from his porch, pausing his shoveling. I nod, but my focus is on the front door. It opens, and my mother, Marisa, stands there, her smile faltering when she sees the officer. Miss Walters is here to retrieve her property, Officer Jesse says, his voice firm. Marissa's eyes narrow. That laptop and camera belong to the family. Jasmine, she says, crossing her arms. You can't just take them. I pull out the receipts, holding them up. These say otherwise. I reply, my voice steady. Purchased with my card. In my name. Officer Jesse scans the documents, his eyebrows lifting. These confirm ownership. Ma'am, he says to Marissa, step aside. Marissa hesitates, her jaw stiff. You're tearing this family apart, she says, her tone sharp but shaky. I meet her gaze, unflinching. You did that when you called me a cow, I say. Mr. Miguel edges closer, pretending to shovel but clearly listening. I hand Officer Jesse another folder: rent payments, utility bills, insurance claims, all in my name. I paid for this house for 6 months, I tell him, loud enough for the neighbor to hear. While she misused my funds, Marissa's mouth opens, then shuts. Officer Jesse flips through the papers, his expression hardening. These show you've been supporting this household alone, he says. Glancing at Marissa, she steps back, silent. As I walk to my old room, the laptop and camera sit on my desk, untouched. I grab them, checking the serial numbers against my receipts. They match. I pack them carefully, my hands calm despite the anger simmering inside. Outside, Mr. Miguel watches openly now, his shovel still. Marissa follows us to the porch, her voice low. Jasmine, we can work this out, she pleads, but it's hollow. I turn, receipts still in hand. You chose an RV over me, I say, my words cutting. She flinches, but I don't stop. I board the train back to Brooklyn, Officer Jesse giving me a nod. You did the right thing, he says. Back at Lacey's apartment, I set the laptop on the table, Scout sniffing curiously. The victory feels bittersweet, my things are back. But the cost was steep. Marissa's face, Mr. Miguel's stare, linger in my mind. They know the truth now. But what comes next? My shoulders tense as I arrange my new desk in Lacey's Brooklyn apartment. Sunlight filtering through the window, casting shadows on my laptop, finally mine again. Scout, Lacey's cat, lounges nearby, his purrs a small comfort. I've started rebuilding, opening a new bank account, untouched by my family. My marketing job's steady pay covers a modest rent share here. And I'm saving again, dollar by dollar. The Long Island house, once my burden, feels like a distant memory. But my phone buzzes with a text from Candace. My 18-year-old sister, the landlord's evicting us. You happy now? I stare at the screen, feeling nothing but resolve. I learn from a cousin's call that the Long Island house is in foreclosure. The unpaid rent and utilities bills I carried for months piled up after I cut them off. The landlord sued, and New York's courts moved fast. A sheriff's notice taped to their door gave them 30 days to vacate. Marissa and Barry, my parents, scrambled to Uncle Victor's place in Queens, but his text to me was blunt. They've got 2 weeks before I kick them out. I don't reply. Their choices, not mine, led to this. Candace and Dylan face their own fallout. A court notice arrived last month. Dylan's arrest for disturbing the peace at Lacey's apartment carried a fine, and Candace got community service for her role. The theft report I filed for my laptop and camera stuck. They're paying restitution. Their names tied to a police record. I don't feel joy, just a quiet relief that the system worked. My notebook, filled with receipts and canceled payments, sits in a drawer, a reminder of the truth I proved back in Brooklyn. I'm painting my corner of Lacey's place a soft gray I picked without asking anyone. No one questions my choices here. I've started job hunting for something with better pay, eyeing small studios I could call my own. The city's hum outside feels like possibility, not pressure. Lacey drops by with coffee, her nursing scrubs wrinkled. Heard about the eviction, she asks, tossing her keys. I nod, sipping the coffee. They're facing what they built, I say, my voice firm. My phone lights up again, a letter forwarded from Aunt Tricia, Marissa's sister. I recognize the handwriting on the envelope, the same scrawl from the RV flyer. I don't open it. 3 more letters arrived last week, all from Marissa, all unopened. They're in a box under my bed. Their words irrelevant. Aunt Tricia's message likely parrots their narrative. I'm the selfish one, abandoning my family. But the neighbors in Long Island, like Mr. Miguel, saw the truth, my receipts, my fight. Their whispers spread, cracking the story my parents tried to sell. I walked to the window, watching snow dust the Brooklyn streets. Candace's text, the eviction, the unopened letters, they're pieces of a life I've left behind. I'm not their cash cow anymore. Lacey joins me, Scout trailing her. You're free now, she says, her tone light but sure. I nod, a small smile breaking through. But as I toss Aunt Tricia's letter in the trash, another buzz from my phone catches my attention. My hands steady as I slide a roasted turkey onto the small table in my Brooklyn apartment, the scent of herbs filling the air. Christmas lights twinkle outside, reflecting off the snow-dusted windows. Lacey laughs, setting out mismatched plates, while Scout, her cat, weaves between our legs. This is my first Christmas free from the Long Island house, from the family who called me a cow. My new home, shared with Lacey, feels warm, honest. No one here measures my worth by what I pay for. I've built something real in Brooklyn. My marketing job covers rent, and my savings now over $2,000 are growing. I painted the walls sage green, hung photos I chose, no one's permission needed. The city's hum outside feels like a pulse I'm part of. Lacey raises her glass, grinning. To chosen family and real freedom, she says. I clink my glass against hers, a smile spreading. Scout leaps onto the couch, demanding a pet, and I laugh. The sound light. Unfamiliar. My old family's fate reached me through a cousin's call. Marissa and Barry lost the Long Island house to foreclosure months ago. After I stopped paying their bills, the unpaid rent and utilities triggered a sheriff's sale. New York's courts finalized it fast, 90 days, and they were out. They stayed with Uncle Victor in Queens, but he gave them a month before asking them to leave. Now they're renting a cramped apartment, scraping by on Barry's odd jobs, Candace, now 19, and Dylan. 31 faced their own consequences. Dylan's fine for disturbing Lacey's apartment stung, and Candace's community service for the theft tied her to a record. They're on their own, no longer my burden. My phone sits quiet, but a stack of unopened letters from Marissa gathers dust in a drawer. Aunt Tricia sent 2 more, her handwriting sharp like the RV flyer I found a year ago. I tossed them in the trash without a second glance. The neighbors in Long Island, Mr. Miguel and others, spread the truth after I showed my receipts. Their whispers dismantled the lies Marissa and Barry told about me abandoning them. I don't need their approval anymore. As Lacey slices the turkey, I think about the life I've carved out. No more carrying a house that mocked me. No more draining my savings for their schemes. I'm eyeing a studio apartment. Small, but mine. Where no one can question my place, the freedom to choose colors, meals. My future feels like a gift I didn't know I could have. I look at Lacey, at Scout. At this table we sat together. This is family, not the one I was born into. The weight of being their cash cow is gone, replaced by a quiet strength. I've learned to value myself, not what I provide. Setting boundaries wasn't just about leaving, it was about protecting my peace. Marissa, Barry, Candace, Dylan, they chose their path, and I chose mine, their consequences. Losing their home, their stability, came from their own actions, not mine. If you're stuck in a family that sees you as a resource, know this: you're worth more than what you give. Walk away, build your own life, and don't look back. What would you do to protect your peace? I chose to let go, and I've never felt freer.